Hello and welcome to Ascended Astrology. In this video, we're going to be talking about Gemini and Gemini Rising, the recent ingress of Pluto into your ninth house, and then we'll take it over to the DMT codes and shift all this information into a frequency. So stay tuned to the end of the episode for that, and we're going to hop right into it. All right, Pluto, the planet of transformation, intensity, depth, power, is going to be transiting your ninth house of higher education, morals, values, higher beliefs, foreign travel, foreign people, long distance travel. And it just feels like there's so much that can happen as far as how you perceive reality during this time. That's actually really exciting. So this is a 20-year transit, so there's a lot of time for this to evolve and shake up and right, that like Pluto energy of decay and death to rebuild. And so do not be surprised if belief systems aren't fitting your reality anymore, or they're crumbling. What this kind of screams to me is like paradigm shift. And at this stage of our evolution on the grander scheme, um, this just feels this zodiac sign in particular, and kind of like what placement this is doing for you feels very aligned with how a lot of people will be experiencing paradigm shifts and realities crumbling. So it's just really interesting. Okay, so Pluto can bring depth and wisdom, and how you kind of deal with these changes. So my best advice here is to kind of go inward, ask to be seen or ask to be shown what needs to be seen, as you know, because if you really think about it, the reality in which we identify in, when that's shaken, it can really throw people off. So just like I said, it's a long transit, so there's a while that you'll have like a lot of shifts and a lot of changes, but um I would say just do your best to go with the flow, because ultimately how you see the world is meant to change anyways. Like if we're not changing how we see the world or how we see ourselves and ourselves in our world, are we really changing? So I feel like this could be really fun. It can be seen as an opportunity to mature and kind of fully surrender to that maturing process, and really aligning with who you want to be as an individual. And so, kind of just allowing this transit to penetrate the depths of who you are, what you believe, um, how you're showing up. And then the shadow or program side of this transit can potentially lead to taking all of the information that you learn, right? Because like that ninth house is that space of higher learning, higher just knowledge, right? It's ruled by Jupiter. It's like, I want to know it all. I want to know it all. And that's great. But I would say with that, kind of to bring in the balance of taking the time to integrate. So learning or consuming, and then stepping back and allowing yourself time to integrate it, instead of just learning as much as you can and kind of running with that and it being more surface level. With Pluto, Pluto's really going to ask you to let it sink in. Take some information, let it sink in, let it integrate, ask to be shown what the next step is, and then go forward. And what I was saying about the shadow program side of that is that you might want to take everything you're learning and shove it down people's throat, for lack of a better phrase. So there's a difference between sharing because you're excited, which is more in that, the chemical space of like, oh my gosh, like I have to call my friend and I have to tell her everything that I just learned because it's super exciting. Pause, sit back, like kind of examining, am I sharing this from a place of like pure excitement, or am I sharing this with the expectation that they'll get on board? And just aligning with whatever, feels best for you. And of course, like we can have those experiences, and like there are some friends who would love to be with you in that excitement, but just kind of being aware of who you bring what to, but ultimately what you're expecting out of them. Because not everybody's going to adopt your beliefs. Not everybody is going to be as excited about all of these higher, new ways of thinking and being. Okay. And then the only other thing with this is because we're dealing with Pluto, there's a little bit of obsession. So just to be able to share openly and honestly with those around you, but be aware of that obsessive state, that can feel a little bogged down, right? And again, this just goes back to that integration part. So get the information, integrate it, and then move forward. But don't just become obsessed with knowledge. Okay, all right. And so in this video, we are going to do the DMT shift code for this based on the zodiac planet and house. So our code today is going to be 3229. We're going to do it with the DMT codes. So if you want to, just go ahead and I'll be holding up the codes. But for now, you can close your eyes, place your hand on heart, and right here we're just going to attune to the white blue light. So just go ahead and bringing in a white blue light, inhaling it through your nose, letting it trace along the brain, moving it down the spine and out through the heart. We'll take in one more deep breath, and as we breathe in the white blue light, letting it trace along the brain, down the spine, raising the frequency of the spinal fluid, and out through that heart space. So we're just tuning here to the ascended DNA. Okay. And our first code is going to be the 3. So if you want to just open your eyes and connect to the symbol. So with your physical eyes, connecting to the symbol on the card, and just allowing your consciousness to attune to the frequency. And once you feel that you have the frequency of the code, go ahead and closing your eyes, bringing the symbol in through the center of the forehead into the pineal gland and allowing it to spin. This code is releasing a very specific frequency from the pineal gland. You can watch it move through the entire ionic grid, turning on the electrons, moving into every cell of the body, tuning every cell to this very specific frequency. Okay. And then our next code is the 22. So again, opening up your eyes, looking at the card with your physical eyes, and allowing your consciousness to attune to the frequency of the code. This code holds a very specific frequency. Once you feel that it is attuned, going ahead and closing your eyes and bringing it into the center of the brain, into the pineal gland, and allowing it to spin. You don't have to understand intellectually what's going on, just having the experience. Allowing the code to run through the entire body, the ionic grid, and move into every single cell in the body. And our last code is going to be the 9. So again, just opening up the eyes and seeing the code, attuning to the symbol, letting your consciousness attune to the frequency of the 9. Once you feel that it is attuned, going ahead and closing your eyes, bringing it in through the pineal gland, allowing it to spin. As the 9 releases its frequency through the pineal gland and moving into the entire ionic grid of the body, running it through the grid, tuning the DNA, moving into every single cell in the body. Okay. So again, that is our shift code for this transit, and it was 3/22/9. So really the point behind this is when we feel this energy, start to come in, or we are consciously aware of some of the energy of this transit, to bring in the shift code to allow us to consciously attune to the information that's behind the energy that's coming in. So that is my hope for you, and that it will be beneficial. Thank you, and we'll see you on the next one.